So Urzikstan is here with the launch of Warzone and Season 1 in Modern Warfare 3, and in today's video I'm going to be breaking down the differences between the gear used in Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer and the perks used in Warzone. There is some crossover and the systems are slightly different, so you're going to want to know what the best perks are to use in multiplayer versus on Warzone. So let's jump into it. So we'll start off in MW3, and this is now been out for about a month or so, and I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with how this system works. So rather than using perks as such, your player will essentially have gear which gives them certain attributes, and they do match some of the older perks, but they're split across gloves, boots and then gear. So in the gloves section you've got things like the assault gloves, which improve your accuracy whilst jumping, and time to ADS is improved. You've got marksman gloves, which is reduced sway and flinch with ADS. Scavenger gloves, which resupply ammo and throwing knives from dead players. Commando gloves, reload while sprinting. These are a bit of a touch. Ordnance gloves, throw equipment further, reset fuse timer on thrown back grenades. And quick grip gloves, increased weapon swap speed. Quick grip gloves are good in multiplayer because you want to be able to switch between your primary and secondary quite easy. Also found that the assault gloves are good, particularly if you're using paddle or you play claw and you do a lot of jump shooting. This will keep your accuracy on point. And then commando gloves, reloading while sprinting is always a touch, so you can always get into cover, reloading at the same time. So these are good. So I'd say those are the three gloves that you want to be using on multiplayer. Then if we move over to boots, I've been having a lot of success with the covert sneakers. This essentially eliminates all your footsteps, so you're gliding around the map silently. The stalker boots increase strafe and ADS movement speed. Tactical pads increase slide velocity and allows for aiming down sight while sliding. So by default your character will go into tac stance ADS when it is sliding, and then you'll go into full ADS once you've come out of the slide. These will basically remove the tac stance ADS when you're sliding, so that you're a bit more accurate while you're sliding. One thing to note is this is equipped by default in Warzone, so there is no tac stance ADS while sliding in Warzone, so these are automatically equipped. Running sneakers increases attack sprint duration and reduces refresh time. Climbing boots increases climbing and mantling speeds. And the lightweight boots increases movement and swim speed, reduces noise while swimming. So these are a bit like double time from the old Warzones. Again, like I say, the covert sneakers for me have been doing absolute bits, and the tactical pads are also really good if you find the tac stance ADS really annoying while you're sliding. So those are my two picks for multiplayer. And then onto gear, you've got the EOD padding. This is like EOD from previous games, reduces damage from non-kill streak explosives and fire. Ghost, so you're off UAV, but you need to be moving, so you can't sit and camp in a corner because otherwise you will still come up on UAVs and radars. Hijack strobe, undetectable by AI marketing systems and thermal optics. Signal jammer, emits a signal disrupting placed enemy claymores and mines. The data jacker, enemies you kill drop a smartphone. Collecting the smartphone generates a radar ping from their location. So this is a little bit like on Resurgence. When you kill a player, you get a ping that reveals the rest of their team. Data jacker does a kind of similar thing. Identification system, while ADSing automatically pings enemy locations on crosshairs. Left-right detector warns of hostile laser and radiation sources. Blacklight flashlight shows recent enemy footsteps. So this is a bit like Tracker from back in the day, and you can see on all of these they've got the, I guess, legacy icons in the top right hand corner. So you can see here the footsteps, and this kind of just alludes to the fact that this is Tracker. Left-right detector obviously is high alert. Mag holster improves reload speeds, that's sleight of hand. Bone conduction reduces combat noise, allowing improved identification of enemy footsteps and gunshots, which can come in clutch. The footsteps in multiplayer haven't been too bad, to be honest, so whether this is needed, try it out and see what you think. The mission control, reduce kill streak cost by 1, so that's essentially hardline, and tac mask is basically battle hardened, reduces strength of enemy flash, stun and gas grenades. Immunity to shock, EMP and snapshot grenades. As well as these three elements, you'll also get vests, and there are various vests that you can equip. So you've got the infantry, this increases tac sprint duration and reduces refresh time. You've got the engineer vest, which can spot an enemy, field upgrades through walls. You've got the gunner vest, which will deploy with max ammo and improved reload speed. So a lot of these do what some of the gear does, and you'll want to try and mix and match the vests with various bits of gear to make sure that you kind of covering all of the aspects to your gameplay that you need. You've got demolition vest, which is resupply lethal and tactical equipment every 25 seconds. The comms vest increases duration, enemies stay on radar and zooms the radar out for nearby allies. Overkill vest allows you to have 2 primary weapons. And the assassin vest means that the kill skulls aren't displayed and essentially gives you ghost again. So that's all of the equipment and how that works in MW3. But you might be asking yourself how some of these bits of gear will transfer over to Warzone, because for example, covert sneakers would be absolutely broken if they were in Warzone, because footsteps are vital in BR games. And so to have this, they've already got dead silence back in the game, dropping with much more regularity. Having covert sneakers would just be too OP. So they've had to take a slightly different approach to the way that perks work in Warzone. So if we jump over to Warzone, then you'll see something that's a bit more familiar. We've got some new perks to play with, but generally the whole perk package system is the same as it was in previously in Warzone 2. So if we jump in here, as you can see, you've got a few sort of pre-set ones. You've got Commander, Deputy, Huntsman and Respirator, but if you press L1 or R1, then you can create your own custom packages. So let's take a look at each of these sections and see what are existing from the previous Warzone and check out some of the new perks. So in perk slot 1, we've got a new one which is Mountaineer. So this reduces full damage, which could be good. There's a lot of tall buildings in Urzikstan, so something like this could be good if you're often falling off for whatever reason. The Mechanic reduces vehicle repair time, increased fueling speed and reduced fuel consumption while driving non-aircraft vehicles. So if you're a big driver, then could be one for you. Shrapnel, explosive damage, delays enemy health regen, slows their movement. So this does that sort of stun effect, I guess, that it did in Warzone 2. Now if you get hit by a regular frag, you don't get that sort of stunned feeling unless they've got shrapnel equipped. Scavenger, like the previous, collect ammo and armor plates and cash from dead players. Battle hardened, same as before, reduced effect of enemy flash stuns, etc. EOD reduces the damage for non-kill streak explosives. Strong arm, throw equipment farther and see the preview of the trajectory. So obviously we had that in Warzone 2. Spotter, spot an enemy and kill streaks through walls. So this is a bit like Hacker. Sleight of hand, so this will help you to reload faster. This is going to be absolutely key in Warzone. Double time increases attack sprint duration and reduces refresh time, so you can move around the map a lot quicker. Irradiated is a new one and could be really interesting for some sneaky gas plays, particularly in endgame. You move faster and take less damage while in gas. So I don't know if it could be worth having a loadout that you set up that you kind of pick up towards the end of the game, so you can do some gnarly little gas plays. And obviously you've got the change in the gas mask animation now, so it does mean that you could avoid putting the gas mask on and maybe just use the irradiated perk to help you move through the gas. Then you've got focus, which reduces flinch while aiming down sights, and extended hold breath duration. So that's slot 1. You basically have the same options for slot 2. So I mean, you've got some good options there. You've got sleight of hand, double time obviously. I think irradiated could be interesting to use. EOD to help you with the Semtex and frags spam. And battle hardened. Does depend what sort of weapon you're going to be running, whether you're sniping versus AR and SMG gunning will affect how you use your perks. Then we move on to slot 3. So we've got a few new ones here. So we've got Escapist, which increased downed, prone and crouch speed. So if you're a little snake who likes to lie on the floor, Escapist could be for you, but not for me, that one. Quick fix, had it in Warzone 2. Killing players or inserting a plate immediately starts health regen. Tracker, as we said before, so you can start to see where they've pulled in the symbols from Modern Warfare 3, and there is this sort of crossover. Tracker, you can see the enemies left behind footprints. Survivor, faster revive speed, reduces cash loss on death, and enemies that are down are automatically pinged. Tempered, so this refills your armor plates to full with 2 plates instead of 3, so this is tempered like the tempered vest, but this is a perk. One thing to note is that there is actually still tempered vests in the game, so you've still got the stealth, the comm vest, the tempered vest. So you've got 2 options of how to play this. You either play it as a perk, which in my mind does feel a bit of a waste, because you'll find tempered vests all over the map, so I don't know if it's worth using one, but it does mean you're guaranteed the 2 plate slots if you pick up your loadout. You got resupply, so you get the recharge equipment over 50 seconds from Warzone 2. Cold-blooded, you're undetectable from thermal optics as before. Stalker, increased strafe and aim down sights movement speed, so this on multiplayer I think is really good. I don't know if it's needed on Warzone, I think time will tell, but yeah, for me I think the closer range engagements are less than they would be on multiplayer, so I don't know, not sure on this one. Payout, contracts pay out more in cash, so you basically get more cash for things like scavs and bounties, and the cost of UAV towers are discounted. And then you've got primed. Accuracy and time to aim down sight is improved while jumping. So this is a bit like the assault gloves on the multiplayer side of things. And then if we jump over to perk slot floor, obviously you've got Ghosts. This has been a favourite for a long time, particularly if you're playing solos or I guess any mode really. Shrouded, so this drops a smoke grenade when entering a down state. So this is the new one that they've added. You basically get enveloped in smoke to make it harder for the enemy to finish you off, and it will also help your squad revive you. Then we've got Flex, which delay triggered explosive while sprinting, warns of nearby enemy equipment and reduces combat noise. Combat Scout is back, so they lost it for Warzone 2, but the original one from Warzone 1 is back. So bullets you fire briefly mark your enemy for you and your squad. Hitting the enemy from farther away increases the mark time. This could be OP. This was particularly good on Caldera just because of all of the bushy environment. Might not be as OP on Urzikstan just because it's a lot more urban, but it's still going to be useful to keep track of the enemies. Birds Eye, your UAV scan faster and show the heading of the enemy of your squad. Detects ghosted players. High Alert, classic, had it throughout. You get vision pulses when spotted by an enemy player outside of your view to the top, left, right or bottom of your screen. And then we've got Resolute, which is another new one. When taking damage from gunfire, grants you a short bonus in movement speed. So this is a little bit like Serpentine again from Warzone 1. So they've kind of merged perks from Warzone 1 and Warzone 2. So there we have it. That's the differences between the multiplayer and the Warzone perk system. The perk system in Warzone, you'll still be picking up those briefcases if you die, which is a really nice quality of life change they brought back into the game. But there are a few perks or abilities that carry over automatically from Modern Warfare 3. And that includes the Overkill vest, so you no longer have to run Overkill on Warzone to be able to have 2 primary weapons in your loadout, which is an absolute touch. As I mentioned before, there are no covert sneakers, so thankfully there isn't a perk that will completely eliminate your footsteps in Warzone. And tactical pads are essentially always included on your character in Warzone, as I mentioned before, so there will be no tack stance while sliding in Warzone. So yeah, there we have it. Some crossover with the perks from the multiplayer game to Warzone, and there are some elements that have carried over from multiplayer into Warzone and are automatically applied to your character. We've got some new perks which could be interesting and some old favourites. Hopefully you found this video useful. If you did, then give it a like, and if you're new around here, then subscribe to the channel. I upload all things Warzone, and I'll catch you in the next video.